I needed a floor lamp, and well, since I'm a maker, I thought, why not build a do-it-yourself floor lamp from scratch? From the very beginning, my goal was clear. I wanted something modern, minimal, and as affordable as possible, and I felt the best way to achieve that was by combining 3D printing with wood. The idea was fairly simple but flexible. A tripod base made from 3 wooden dowels. At the center, a 3D printed hub that holds everything together. From that hub, a vertical wooden rod goes up and connected to it a horizontal arm that carries the lampshade. At the top, I designed a white ribbed lampshade hanging like a pendant to soften the light. Of course, this design can easily be customized. Different colors, different wood finishes. There's a lot of room to create your own style. Now let's talk about cost. At the time I built this lamp, my local hardware store prices brought the total cost to around $24. When I compared prices across several global online stores, especially for wooden dowels, the total project cost landed closer to $48 on average. For filament, I based my calculations on Bamboo Lab PLA pricing. They often offer great bundle discounts, so if you're buying filament in bulk, you can definitely reduce the overall cost. When it came to 3D printing, all structural parts of the lamp were printed on a Bamboo Lab A1 using standard quality settings, low and fill, and a 0.4mm nozzle. These settings meet the minimum requirements for the main structural parts of the design. Now when it comes to the lampshade, things were a bit different. At first I printed it in Spiral Vase mode using a 0.4mm nozzle, and to be honest, the result wasn't very satisfying. The lampshade turned out too thin and too flexible. Because of that, I decided to switch to a 0.8mm nozzle from Bamboo Lab. I know that on many 3D printers, changing nozzles can be annoying and time-consuming, but Bamboo Lab really does a great job here. Being able to change nozzles easily with one hand is honestly one of the biggest advantages for Bamboo Lab users. After making the final adjustments in Bamboo Studio and activating its magic feature, Spiral Vase mode, I started printing the lampshade again. And by the way, I'd like to say a big thank you to Bamboo Lab for supporting this project. This time, the lampshade turned out exactly the way I wanted. Simply changing the nozzle diameter made a huge difference in terms of strength and rigidity. Assembling the lamp feels a bit like combining a Lego set with a camping tent. First, the foot caps are placed on the bottom of the 3 wooden legs. Then the legs are inserted into the tripod center hub and secured using M5 screws or bolts. Next comes the vertical wooden rod, which slides into the center of the hub and gets fixed in place the same way. After that, the vertical to horizontal joint is mounted onto the vertical rod, and the horizontal arm slides into this joint. Now for the lighting part, the E27 socket is placed into its 3D printed holder, and that holder is inserted into the lampshade. At this point, the lampshade could even be used as a standalone pendant light. The cable hanger end cap is mounted to the tip of the horizontal arm, and the lamp cable is seated into the cable guide. The cable runs neatly along the horizontal arm, down through the joint and into the vertical section, where built-in cable clips keep everything clean and secure. And finally, we screw in the light bulb. Seeing a design go from a 3D model to a real, functional object is always an amazing feeling. The final result matches the original concept almost perfectly. Of course, there's always room for improvement. Different materials, new shapes, or even smart lighting. But now I'm curious, what do you think about this design? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.